This is Contemporary Math, Section 6A. This section is dealing with averages. So what is average? And hopefully most of this will just be a review from what you guys have already learned before. The mean is when you add up all the values and divide by the total number of values. The median is the middle set in a sorted set. Remember, to find the median, you have to list the values in order. And the mode is the most common value, the one that happens the most often. So you'll also remember that we have what are called outliers. And an outlier is a data value that is much higher or much lower than almost all the other values. And an outlier can change the mean, but usually does not affect the median or mode. So one of the examples I like to use when I'm demonstrating that the mean is not always the best average to use. Let's say we have a classroom full of juniors, and we want to find the average age of everybody in the room. But if we include my age, which is 62, I would be an outlier because I would guess that the average age of everybody in the room would be 16 or 17. But because if I threw my age in there, I wouldn't want to use the mean because the average would be much higher than it really is. In that particular case, we would want to use either the median or the mode. The next little section talks about symmetry or skewness. Another way to describe the shape of a distribution is in terms of its symmetry. So if we were to graph the values, and it looked like all of these are very symmetric, right? This graph would show that there's only one mode. This one also shows one mode. And then this one's really a mode, but then there's two numbers that happen more than others also. So if you had a distribution that looked like this, it would be considered trimodal. The other thing we talk about when we're talking about distributions of data and average is the data left skewed or right skewed. So on a left skewed distribution, most of the values are bunched up over here, but there's some outliers over here on the low end. And remember, the hump is where the mode is. If you have a left skewed distribution, that means that the mean is less than the median. And then just the opposite for right skewed. So most of the data is bunched up over here on the low end. And then you have outliers out here. Remember, outliers skew the mean. So in this case, then the mean would be higher than the median or the mode because the outliers are on the high end. A distribution like this is where the mean and the median and the mode are all the same value. So remember that left skewed, the values are more spread out on the left end, and a right skewed, the values are more spread out on the right end, to the right of the mode. And then we have this thing called variation. And variation describes how widely the data values are spread out from the center. So if you were to graph your distribution of values, this would be a very low variation. Like the range of the data is very small. This would be a moderate, and then this one would be higher, a high variation. Your assignment for this section is the quick quiz 6A on page 382.